Hey, welcome to Tub Time. It's really late, and the battery for everything that I own was on 0, so I still felt like this was on my list for today to do this. So I'm doing when your battery is on 0 and you're all wore out, but you still want to show up for something. Just because it's your creation and because you put it on your list, and you want to show up because every time you show up, you know that you find something cool about yourself, or you have a good experience when you show up there, or you learn something, or you give something back, or all the things I might imagine could come even in some small way from this. So showing up when you don't have energy to show up is, now that I'm saying it, I realize really important also in relationships. So that's what I'm here all about. In the tub, we're in the bathtub talking about tarot. It makes a lot of sense to me. I hope whoever watches this, it makes a lot of sense to you as well. So I did start doing tarot, and I think that that's a beautiful process, and I just want to learn with it and have fun and self-discovery, of course, but also ask people what tarot means to them. But also, I just barely started with the Mystical Tarot set by Giuliano Costa. And so as a learner, which we should always just be a learner every day, right? But I like being naive and not knowing and trying something out and not knowing. It's nice to not be an expert in every field. Like, even if you are an amazing expert in something, it's nice to take some time out from that stance and just be naive in some activity. And so anyway, so that's what I'm doing here too. But so he says, from the beginning of tarot, it was meant to be a language of symbols. This is Giuliano. And when we read words, we're accessing information in the same way. We get really used to it and we get the same meaning. It's really structured and we're really limited, and I'm not quoting him anymore, but we're limited within that structure of what meaning we can take within ourselves, what meaning we can communicate within other people. And I found that little part of what he said in the intro to his tarot deck just really amazing, and I keep thinking about it. He says, so when we look at these images instead of our normal structured language that's so rigid for the concepts that we can communicate about, when we step out of that rigidity of English language and we look at pictures like tarot to communicate with ourselves, we open a door into our psyche, a mystical door. A mystical door into our psyche opens. And that's a door of perception. Not like a lost door that we have to struggle to find. The door is just a metaphor for perception, but we open this different way of perceiving. And he describes it as perceiving the mystical in the mundane world. And that's freaking amazing. I love that. That's a really good answer. I did ask anyone, burning my finger, burning my metal finger. I did ask anyone, and I still do, what does tarot mean to you? But I really love this. It opens a mystical door. And perceiving the mystical in the mundane world is one of the secrets of the tarot. Perceiving the mystical in the mundane world is probably one of the reasons for life, the universe, and everything itself, right? I love the Hitchhiker's Guide so much to the galaxy. And perceiving the mystical in the mundane would be the reason to show up for something a little bit mystical, like, just playing in the tub, tarot cards. Anyway, so we're using I, alone in the tub, am using the musical oracle cards by Stephen Alcock. I still have a bunch that haven't gone in the water with us yet, and I just shuffle them until one joins in the tub, and then make, some assumptions from that. And now I'm trying tarot. But I don't have much battery left as a person, so, or as devices, so. Something really funny did happen today. Talking about, not having energy left for an event, but what do you do? Because I got home from work, and I guess I like a lot of tubs, because I was taking a bath with my new puppy, and I swore I was listening to something in the tub and relaxing, and I swore that I heard a police radio, and I paused everything that we were listening to, and the puppy was asleep, and there was a policeman right outside my bathroom window, and I called down, and I said, "Are you here for," and I said my address. He said, "Yes, we had a police call that you were being broken into," and I said, "No, you should go away. It's very inconvenient. I'm in the tub." And that's not how life works. So it was pretty funny. I didn't say it quite like that. I said, I'm naked and I don't want to come down. And he said, "You need to find your ID and some clothing." So we settled it. But, I couldn't just say, "I'm really tired from work. I don't want to show up," which I did try to say. And also, what the heck? But these are really weird times, and I was so exhausted. I thought maybe if I just asked the police nicely, they would go away. So, hey. I dropped so many. I think it's almost time for the music oracles, for me to move on from the music oracles. Even though I'm really tired, I really have been studying the tarot, and I really am excited to do that. We got Billie Holiday, who I love so much. I will put her by her candle. I'm so tired, but I'm truly excited that she's in the deck. I haven't looked at these beforehand. These are all my favorite artists. It's so hard to pick favorite artists. These are a lot. Bob Dylan. Lay, lady, lay. Go lay across your bed. I'm so tired. Johnny Cash. I went down, and the flames I couldn't hide, and it burns. I'm very tired, We're very tired. Gotta find that fire. Gosh, all these cards have very profound eyes that are just really good. I gotta look up what that is. And oh my goodness. Couldn't tell me. This card is fantastic. This is the exact same theme I did for my senior picture in high school. My skin was blue like this. Talk about being like totally done with an experience. Just like so many of us. But now I should be grateful that I got to go to school and see my friends in person. So the other kids aren't doing that now. So holy crap, that was so awesome. I don't know. How about when you're exhausted and you're Looney Tunes and you're so tired you don't want to show up for anything, you even want to just call in wet and naked and tired and exhausted for the police. Like, you just don't want to do anything. Sometimes all of your favorite, like many of your favorite things can show up to inspire you, even in like the tiniest way. These are just these little pieces of paper. And I literally just created this environment and this moment for myself, or with, with the mystical door and with the mystical, whatever you want to name the divine present with that, which is the beautiful part. But oh, it's so awesome. I truly get so much joy from each one of these faces. So I think that's a good message in and of itself. Maybe just remembering with some amount of openness, beauty can come when you're beyond your limit. When you're just, maybe you're a year or 2 years beyond your limit, Billie Holiday. If you're going to play with your whole soul. You have no understudy. Sometimes losing beats winning. Wow. Yeah. You do not have an understudy. I do not have an understudy. Parenting. I do have a really awesome team at my work, but I really don't think that anyone can make up for it if you don't show up for a client. Like, people will show up for my clients in place of me, but that doesn't make up for the act of not showing up for clients. So, wow, that is like, yeah, when we're really past I know a lot of us are really past our limit right now. So it's just like so much gratitude for people to show up and just sending inspiration and support, and may all your favorite some things show up for you. Bob Dylan. Nostalgia is for two-time losers. Don't mistake that mansion on the hill for paradise. Darkness may be falling, but we're not there yet. Oh, miles to go before I sleep. Miles to go before I sleep. Just think of that poem. It's interesting to think of like the darkness is falling, but in this context it's as relief. And I'm talking about being so excited to sleep and being so exhausted. So that's really interesting. Isn't it true that there's a balance to life, that in the darkness we find the deepest rest, we find the clearest dreams sometimes, and it's like the richest soil, the experience of growing as a seed is a darkness, and in the rotting decay of life grows a seed. So just the idea of being excited for the darkness, and mistaking something that's maybe like beautiful and paradise, it really isn't. Don't mistake that mansion on the hill for paradise. A really big empty place is a really big empty place, I really like a place filled with creatures and children and plants, so I get it. Okay. Johnny Cash. I love Johnny Cash. Making the right enemies is as important as making the right friends. Ooh, ouch. Heaven or hell, it's up to you. Darkness is your friend. Whoa! Darkness is your friend. Being excited for the darkness. It's not just about sleep or being excited for death, but maybe embracing the idea that we do die, and that's the whole experience of life is, and that's the experience of it being really intense to be a mother, and mothers having a great deal of depression after the birth of their fragile little child, because you create this beautiful little thing full of that explosion of life, and it just gets dwindled by age or time or the elements or the forces against life, which is the most terrible thing that we can imagine having happen. But just inevitably birth equals death, and so I think that women obviously have a lot of depression with that, but it is life. It's like, if you say death is bad, then you say the very existence of our existence is bad. We really can't say that, right? We're all okay with thinking about that we all get born. We struggle with the fact that not all of us get to procreate, and we struggle to talk about that. And then we seem incapable of talking about the fact that we all die. So I think we need to work on those last two issues. And maybe focus on helping kids when they're less like super cute and adorable, like teenagery, and younger when they start being naughty and realizing that they have a choice for good and bad, or what we call darkness, and they have to take on their individual responsibility to embrace darkness. And then we as a society don't have an ability to talk about that. Like, maybe we need to do something about that too, and not be so obsessed with just babies, even though I myself am personally super obsessed with babies. Oh, and Kurt Cobain is just so missed. And I don't know, I feel like if there's other timelines in life, that maybe there's another timeline where Kurt Cobain lived, and I just wonder what he would have created, what music would have been created with Nirvana. And that is just the awful like pain of the darkness of death and loss, and when things just go so terribly. But the only thing worse would have been not having Kurt Cobain in the first place. It says, we're all in this mess together, so we may as well make some noise. Don't become your own tribute band. You can't buy Teen Spirit. Yeah, like, the idea that teenagers are bad, like, I really struggle with this, but figuring out how to love that process of adolescence and get out of it and embrace it when you need it too. Like, I go in the car and sometimes play Nirvana. It's a really good choice, but like just rock out to something angsty and think about the things that are frustrating and angry, and you want to just like drive away and you know, there is a great camaraderie from those years, and there's still this, you're still on this precipice of choosing a forever partner, and you still sort of have the memories of childhood friendships that are platonic, and you still have this like memory of how to build that, and I wish people didn't lose that. There's however many billion people on the planet, and there's only becoming more, and you really, I guess me personally, I can really only be a lover to one person properly, if that even, you know, and I failed at that. So once I am lucky enough to do it again, I can really only do it with one person at least at a time. So there's all these other billions of people. Like, can't we have beautiful relationships with them, with a lot of intimate warmth and human admiration and intellectual stimulation and spiritual stimulation and visual stimulation. I've read psychological articles that really lay out how female sexuality is really enriched by the visual experience of other women. Like, there's that song, the girls walk by dressed up for each other. It's so true, because that's hot and sexy, and it makes it hot and sexy for the other girls, you know, and I think that's really true, and that's really just one part of the platonic. It even has this like quasi sexual reward, but platonic relationships have so much intimate reward, and I think our world would be better if we had a better ability to do that. Even if we had a really good ability to give and accept compliments, or to just talk about what's beautiful about each person, and to just assume that people are beautiful and attractive, and not assume that we need to just pretend that they're not. It's really unhealthy for couples. I think it's much more healthy when couples are like able to see the beauty around them. So I don't know, just yay for the teenager, and they're not the darkness just because they're like stuck in the medium place. And just because they have to individuate from authority. We all need to individuate from authority, and then we all need to take our own authority. We all need to move past adolescence, and we all need to embrace the fact that we will die, you know. I'm trying to just not even think about the fact that Bob Dylan is the only person of all the artists that I love that's still alive. You know, I don't want to embrace it, but the darkness may be falling, but he's not there yet. It's, you know, in one way, it's so difficult. I detest thinking about Bob Dylan not being alive. I detest the thought of thinking about Willie Nelson not being on this earth. Some of my earliest memories are driving around in my dad's pickup truck, like repeatedly pushing the 8-track for Willie Nelson songs and just singing, like, I gotta get drunk and I sure do dread it. I know just what I'm gonna do. Like, I'll get through it, but, you know, That's what it is when you think you can't do it. Like, actually, I would be really sad if I was not allowed to be in a world without Willie Nelson, isn't it? But it's so sad for me to think about it. But you know, I get my chance for life, and hopefully I am. Hopefully I do. I'm so much younger than him, so. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to try this tarot. Okay, I do not want to drop tarot cards in the tub. Oops. That's super disrespectful. So I guess you'll have to trust me. I'm learning to shuffle too. I just really don't want to drop them. Hey, super long time in the tub for super tired. No batteries. I think this would help someone fall asleep, so maybe that's a secondary benefit of when your battery is empty, tarot in the tub episode. Whew, so is the Ten of Swords. I forgot to say that I'm just calling this the What the Heck reality check tarot card, you know, by me in the tub. So your tub time tarot card. The Ten of Swords. Facing the darkness. Ooh. It's a pretty good card for that. I think meaning's pretty obvious, and obviously trying to go with what I said, that I have to read the image to free ourselves from some of the structure of what we have, we have to take as meaning. So I would like to remember, hey, getting stabbed in the back 10 times, that means you had 10 friends. This guy really finally got to take a nap. What else? I mean, he might turn into a phoenix. There's like an owl. This could just be like a Harry Potter reference. It's very Harry Potter-ish. No, but seriously, I mean, I do personally believe in rebirth, and maybe in that we are all born and we do all die, and if we did step out of having to make that so horrible, within even this horrible experience, obviously it seems like we're supposed to know that 10 people stabbed him in the back, or, one person was really angry, I guess. But this horrible thing happened that he couldn't protect from. He probably couldn't see coming. It was mortal. It was overkill. And still it would seem that there's like this element of spirit, and I feel like that's how we go on, and it also looks very systemic. And I think we should remember that there's a system in place for even these dark moments, and like starlight in the darkness. Without the darkness, there would be none. And then this other card did jump out, and I can't read it in this deck. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's I was thinking it's the Prince of Swords. as well, but it's very feminine. I don't know if it's the Queen or the Prince of Swords. Not sure. There's a hero hidden amongst your experience. But I really hope so. The Ten of Swords from Giuliano Costa. The Ten of Swords. The signs can no longer be ignored or denied. Some things just can't be repaired. The message. This is the end. Accept it and move on. I don't know. I guess this is my personal experience of believing in tarot. But for the very first fledgling ventures that I've taken into this experience, like, that seems like a really good card for what this conversation was about. What about when you're at the end? What about when your literal battery is at the end? Like, what about when death is inevitable? When, you know, hopefully you're very, very old. Oh, it is the page. It is the Page of Swords. I guess I couldn't read it properly, but there's the armor at the top. It's the Page of Swords, not the Queen. But the page looks like a badass teenager girl, like kind of like Joan of Arc or something. Page of Swords. So that's pretty cool. Yes, an intelligent young person who thinks he knows more than he knows. He is analytical but lacks true understanding and real-world experience. So somewhere in between these two, like, know-it-alls, right, is where we need to be. And we're very tired. But we gotta maintain it and keep soldiering on and keep showing up. Keep showing up, because there's no understudy to you, and you do just get this time between, like, birth, I guess, which is like just a little bit over here, birth and adolescence, and you're hopefully old, death, with lots of memories of your 10 friends, and not, you know, there's swords in your back. But either way, that's pretty awesome. And you're really awesome. And I hope you have a really good life between those two beautiful opposing factors of birth and death. And I hope you have many beautiful experiences in between. Maybe when you get exhausted and your battery is empty, they'll just be a little bit more, like, giddy and strange, which isn't always bad. Alright, this was extremely long. May you stay ball.